guys like that play before me, and just seeing the success and then, the things that they've been through, not just only against Clemson, but a winning quarterback in general. But, obviously winning the state's a big deal. And to kind of, I guess be the quarterback of the team is a nice thing, but there's a lot of other people that go into a win, not just the quarterback. So.
Jake, you've been knowing about this rivalry for a long time. Have you had to educate some of the guys, especially guys from out of state, about just what this rivalry means to almost everyone in the state?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, living here, growing up, always knew about it. I know how big of a rivalry it is. And then moving to Alabama, getting to experience the Auburn-Alabama one. I got down there and I was like, maybe the Iron Bowl rivalry is kind of bigger. But then moving back and actually playing in the game and just being more involved kind of with South Carolina, there's definitely, equal rivalries as much as far as what goes into it. So, getting the guys that kind of out of the state to recognize how big of a game this is for, our fans and for people just in the state.
Jake, do you Kelly Bryant a little bit? Do you what's your relationship like with him, and how often do you guys communicate?
I don't really know him too well. Through with him a couple times, just being in the area kind of was when I was younger. So don't really know him too well. I know Jay knows him pretty well, and he talks to him every few weeks. So Jay says he's a great guy, and obviously he's a great football player too. So.
Jake, Syracuse beat Clemson by speeding up the tempo, particularly on offense. Is that something that you guys have looked at or tried to fit that into what you guys do?
Yeah, I think it's going to go through and kind of, play our game and, try to just execute at a high level. And that's what we talk about every week. And, nothing changes in that, aspect, just trying to go out there and execute the best we can.
Good. Todd in the back.
Jake, growing up when you were 8, 9, 10, a lot of those Burns guys went to Clemson and played. Did you have an allegiance to one side or the other when you were, younger, growing up in the state and watching the Clemson-South Carolina rivalry? When was the first memory you have of watching that game or going to that game in person?
Yeah, people ask me that a lot, knowing I'm from here. And, really I just tell them whoever my dad coached. I kind of cheer for a player, not really the team. I remember, going to Clemson, seeing Willie Corn, Chad Deal, Buster Hunter, those guys, and then, Marcus and Nick Jones coming here. Just guys that, I grew up watching, wanted to be, just like them when I grew up. So, and then just going to see them play against each other and seeing them on the field was always exciting for me.
Jake, you guys had some success against Wofford with a few deep shots down the field. How important is that going to be to stretch Clemson's defense a little on Saturday night?
Yeah, obviously they have a great D-line, great box, and, great defense overall. They mix it up a lot. So, and the big thing is going to be winning one-on-one matchups. That's kind of every week what we talk about. But, definitely this week, winning those matchups, whether it be a lineman or a receiver, just winning those matchups. And, putting the pressure on them, being aggressive, trying to go win the big one. So,
Mike.
Jake Taylor Stallworth was telling us earlier that you guys put on some of the film from last year's game. I'm wondering how much you guys talk about it and how much you use it for motivation this year to try to get even in the series.
It's kind of different for each guy. Some guys I think feed off that more than just for me. I just kind of the game itself is motivation for me. Obviously everyone that was here knows what happened. Some guys need to be reminded of it every day to kind of fire them up. But I'm sure Taylor probably said it. Just got to go out there and play though. It's a different team than last year. It's a different game. It's a different situation. So just got to go out there and execute at a high level.
Jake, you guys have had a lot of success not just offensively, but just as a team in the third quarter. But being able to play in an environment like this, probably one of the largest crowds that Williams-Brice has seen in quite some times, how are you guys going to be able to try to find a way to be able to keep those jitters down, especially early on in the game, so you're able to play the game, you're not just all over the place?
I think that's the big thing we learned from the Kentucky game. I mean, guys in the locker room kind of, right at the door with 8-10 minutes, before we kicked off, and it's like, guys, let's, save it for when we kick off, but. And then we score on the first play, and then everyone was just super, super juiced after that. So, just being, even kill the whole game, knowing it's 4 quarters, we went to play the whole time. It's going to be a hard-fought game, and just, saving it for kickoff. It's going to be a challenge, but I think we'll be prepared for it.
Jake, as a quarterback, or when you talk with Kurt, how much emphasis do you guys have on yards after catch, yards after contact from your receivers?
And that's the big thing that they always talk about. Coach McClendon, harps on that all the time, catching the ball and just getting vertical. I mean, I hear him say it, 100 times in practice today. So it's a big deal for them. For me, all I can do is just put it in their hands and then let them do the rest. So, but let them get it on screens and stuff like that. Getting some yards after the catch is big. But for me, I'm just trying to get it to them the best way possible and let them do the work from there. Yeah, I mean, if they want to, break off, 80 yards, they can. But
Jake, I know you're a pretty big college football fan. You pay attention to what else is going on out there. How surprised are you that without Watson and Mike Williams and these guys, that Clemson's right back here at number 2 in the CFP rankings? And and if you're not that surprised, what can you just kind of say about that?
Yeah. I think it shows that they have great coaching, and they've developed a system there that works for them, and no matter who the players are, obviously Deshaun and Mike Williams, like you said, were great players that did a lot for them, and I think they as leaders of their offense last year, kind of setting an example for the younger guys to follow, and I think they've done a great job so far. Kelly Bryant's done a great job, and so they're a great team and have a lot of great players.
Phil?
Last year they had you come over to the sideline to get the play call and apparently to maybe try to slow the game down and maybe kind of settle you down. Did that end up having the opposite effect? Did you ever get settled down into the game? And then how are you different in terms of your excitement level and your mental approach this time around?
It was different for me last year. It kind of limited the time that I had to kind of, try to pick out what they were doing. And so it was definitely challenging for me last year doing that. But I think this year I know more. A lot of time last year just making silly mistakes and not something in protection, not seeing it. So I think this year just being more aware of that and what defenses are trying to do, not just them in general, but throughout the whole year, I feel like I've been able to see it more. So hopefully through film study, just knowing more what I'm looking for, I'll be able to pick it up better on Saturday.
Jake, other than they have good players, what stands out about this defense, maybe from like a scheme standpoint? Are they more man, zone, or they just sort of mix it up?
They kind of mix it up. Every game they've kind of pulled out something different. Coach Venables does a great job. He's a great defensive coach, and has a lot of different coverages he can run, a lot of different blitzes that he can pull out. So it's kind of he has them all in his back pocket, and he just throws them out there, and they have a great they do great at executing what he lays out for them. So a lot of different coverages, a lot of different schemes.
Jake, going up against a front that's probably one of the best in the country, I know they're a little banged up just as a defense as a whole, but how important will it be to be able to establish the run and not become one-dimensional?
Yeah. That's important in every game. Especially this one. Like you said, knowing how good their front is. We got to be able to stay balanced. And I'm sure, as y'all know, the numbers say, we're better when we stay balanced. So, being able to do that will be huge for us in the game. So, and just executing at a high level in the passing game too. If it comes down to it, we got to throw it, and we'll throw it. But just doing whatever it takes.
From a year ago, what did you learn about the physicality of this game? It seemed like they were hitting you late or hitting you often every time you threw the ball. And how long did it take you to get over that game to move on to what you needed to do to get ready for the spring?
It was physical last year. They had a great defense, obviously. full of some great players. But I know it's a different team this year. I think we're a different team. I think we have a better understanding of our protection schemes. So I think hopefully we'll be better this year in that aspect. But I mean, every game is going to be physical, though. I mean, if you look back from the Georgia game this year, any other game, I mean, the physical games, and that's why you play in the SEC. But and then last year after the game, just really trying to prepare for the bowl game. After we got it done last year. So.
Jake, this is going to be your first Carolina Clemson game as a player. What type of atmosphere do you expect when you guys are taking the Gamecock walk to Williams-Brice Stadium, and then just the pregame atmosphere?
You mean as far as like being here?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's I expect everyone to come out. I know our fans are excited. I know I was just talking with Justin, and he kind of challenged the students to be out there early and be fired up, and I fully expect them to. Just throughout the campus, there's a big buzz. Just going around, people are excited. I think there's more confidence this year. Definitely going into it, and I think everyone's just really fired up for this game, knowing how much it means for people in this state.